Good. And this means from input just from either commissioner.
No, you have to like say
Public
the right
comment,
thing.
then she can toss it over to me because I have this one to read.
So you can't just be like, okay, well, just.
So now we're gonna have a public hearing. Everybody good with that?
I totally hear you. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. That's great. If I were doing this for 20
We'll be read into the record.
I appreciate
Reading.
What you need is another.
process oriented and not just
And then any other public
board
comment,
and pass, but like.
discussion.
I don't know. Do you have a written public?
Scott, I'm joining you. Should keep
Oh,
So
did she get a copy?
so what?
Said she was Matt's gonna have you read that public comment?
Yes, yes. So there's gotta be a vote. We'll put in here, motion to authorize the sale. Motion to authorize the sale, the right-of-way sale. And then the motion goes, well, whoever.
Oh, hey, how are you?
How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Good summer?
Good summer, hot
As
summer.
presented.
Someone told me that it is statistically hot, like it's a very hot summer.
It's been a lot of rain.
Yeah, and then motion to close the record.
Humid too.
Oh, and very humid. Yes. It's good for the tomatoes. The tomatoes are very happy, right? Heat,
Yes.
And the flowers.
moisture. Are the flowers happy?
I'm happy.
And there should be
I know, how's
there
your
should be a roll
summer?
call vote. I can write that
Good.
down.
I don't have much to complain about.
Thank you, Jill. I'll go grab that.
How's your summer going?
Good.
Are you around? You're doing a lot of traveling abroad and
We're abroad. My parents do a little trip every year after the grandkids' first year in college.
I'm here too.
Did you all go?
Just mom.
I have no idea.
Where do you
I
guys
think he
go?
still has like 90 seconds to scoot in.
True.
Oh,
I'm sometimes coming in hot for
that's
this.
interesting.
But I haven't heard.
Did you go in June? Like, when's a good
May.
time? May, right after they get out, before the summer crowds. Uh-huh. Thank you. I'm looking for a tip about, because we didn't do any travel, and I was like, is this it? Because, you know, Fred's going to college. That's a good tip.
Where's the way you about? Yeah.
Yeah, and he did not want to, like, he just wanted to see all of his friends, go to all the grad parties, work. He didn't want to travel in the summer.
I know, I love it.
So,
Love it.
hopefully the money will go to good use. That all. Give me, right? Oh, yeah.
Just about first time.
I'm sure she's gonna just slip in. But why does she even have to be there?
Right. Right.
Let's give her, oh.
Should we go in? All right. Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the July 21st, 2025 meeting of the Village of Western Springs Village Board of Trustees to honor our nation's heroes and especially to honor the individuals who serve and protect our community. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Clerk Timick, may we have the roll call, please?
Yes, President Rudolph. Trustee Avakian.
Here.
Trustee Chen.
Here.
Trustee Fink.
Here.
Trustee Lewis.
Here.
Trustee Martin.
Here.
Trustee Naraki. Trustee Naraki is absent.
All right, thank you very much. We will move on now to our next agenda item, the public comment. Is there anyone here who would like to make a comment? All right, I do believe we have one that will be read.
As part of the public hearing.
That's part of the public hearing. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, then moving on, I understand we have an introduction and swearing in of Fire Lieutenant Matthew Swartz.
Is this on?
Yes.
Thank you. President Rudolph, members of the board, Clerk Timick, good evening. It's my privilege to introduce an exceptional member of the Western Springs Department of Fire and EMS. I want you to meet Fire Lieutenant Matt Schwartz. Originally from New York, Matt began his fire service journey as a volunteer in New York State over a decade ago. He holds an associate's degree in fire protection technology and earned his paramedic certification in 2016 and holds specialized certifications in hazmat operations and as a fire apparatus engineer. When Matt and his wife, Tiani, moved to Timber Trails early in 2020, his commitment to service and his commitment to his new community, Western Springs, brought him to us at the Western Springs Fire Department. Now, Matt brought a lot of energy, a real eagerness to learn, and of course, a deep sense of commitment to his new home, and he wanted to serve it in a meaningful way. Now, I want you to imagine, though, at that time, what was going on in 2020. All right, so we had a global pandemic going on, and unfortunately, all the certifications that Matt had earned in New York State and then later on in Arizona meant nothing to the state of Illinois. He had to redo all his certifications, take all this extra testing. Our training chief at the time, Pat Gallagher, worked diligently with him through the pandemic and all the extra stress that involved to get him through that. So facing that dual challenge, by November of that year, Matt completed all that certification and joined our department as a fully certified firefighter with the state of Illinois. That certainly says a lot to me about his grit, his determination, his commitment to the department, and of course, the commitment to the community. And the minute I met Matt when I joined the department, I was always impressed by his eagerness to learn, his great temperament, his sense of humor, and his calmness under pressure. To me, he's exemplified what it means to serve. He's played a key role in our hydrant testing program. He's always part of our participation in Western Springs Safety Village. He's always contributed his efforts to our recruitment program, getting us in all kinds of multimedia types of efforts for our programs. And of course, he also led the Western Springs Fire Rescue Association as its president. He is widely respected in the department for his intelligence, steady presence, and the kindness and good sense of humor he brings to every interaction. Beyond the department, Matt embraces an equally, if not a more important role as a stay-at-home father in support of his lovely wife, Tiani's medical career as a doctor at Loyola Hospital. He anchors their family with strength and unwavering support. He has 3 wonderful children that he often brings to the firehouse, and they light up the room every time they come in, and Matt couldn't be a more proud father. So I am very proud of this promotion, as Matt certainly exemplifies our core duties of duty, pride, and tradition, both in character and conduct. As he takes on this new role, we are confident he will serve the community well, and he will be an outstanding company officer. So at this time, I would like Matt to introduce his family, after which we're going to have Clerk Timick officially swear him in his new role. Matt?
Hello, thank you for having us all here today. So I brought with me today my wife, Tiani, my oldest daughter, Aurora, James, the middle child, and the youngest, Henry. Henry, of whom is the biggest fire buff you'll ever meet. Every time we bring him to the firehouse, he knows exactly where to go, what seat to jump in, loves every minute of it. But I also want to thank all of you, the members of the department, who have welcomed me into this community when I joined, created like a second family sense. And of course, like all of us, we wouldn't be here without our family. So definitely a big thank you to my family that even on my wife's busy career, she still, every month, I'm like, hey, it's time to figure out when we're doing shifts again. And she's always ready to go and gives me as many as she can. So that's, thank you.
So Tiana, if you could come up too, and then I'd be happy to hold James if you want, or James, okay staying there? You guys all want to come up?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. If you could raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Matt Forrest,
Having been appointed to the position
having been appointed to the position
of Lieutenant, Fire and Emergency Medical Services
Lieutenant of Fire and Emergency Medical Services
in the Village of Western Springs,
in the Village of Western Springs,
in the County of Cook,
in the County of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Municipal Code of the Village of Western Springs,
and the Municipal Code of the Village of Western Springs,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the position of
of the position of
Lieutenant, Fire and Emergency Medical Services
Lieutenant of Fire and Emergency Medical Services
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you and congratulations. All right, we're going to be moving on to our next agenda item, and you're welcome to stay or go. All right, we will move on to our next agenda item, which is a presentation on CSPAR by Executive Director Matt Corso.
President Rudolph, I just want to introduce Matt really quickly. Matt Corso, he's the Executive Director of the Southeast Association for Special Parks and Recreation. Everyone knows it as CSPAR, I think, as part of our board. And just a little bit of background of CSPAR, we're one of 13 communities that are a member of the organization. They provide special rec services year-round to all of our residents, predominantly in our recreation program. So Matt's here today to give us some more information on CSPAR and a little more fine-tuned data on Western Springs. Thank you.
This is on, right? Okay, good. Thank you. Is it okay if I stand over here? Yeah. Okay, good. Okay. Thank you, President Rudolph and the rest of the board for having me here today. Yes, my name is Matt Corso. I'm the Executive Director of CSPAR. And I don't think, I know since I've been director, which has been 8 years, we've never come to speak here. I've talked to the Rec Commission, but I've never come to the board. So I kind of went over the top a little bit with this presentation, and I apologize ahead of time if I go too long. So, but hopefully I got lots of fun stories and feel-good stuff and pictures and be able to go fast. Anyway, my name is Matt Corso. I've been with the association for 21 and a half years. I started as a rec coordinator with CSPAR, and then I became a superintendent and now executive director. But I've been in the field for over 30 years. I started as a teenager for NEDSRA, which is based in Addison. So I started as a teenager doing day camp and all that kind of fun stuff. So, and so we're going to kind of, again, I'm going a little over the top, but these are some of the things that I'm going to talk about today. I'm not going to go one by one with these just because that would just take a while. So, but these are all different things that we're going to talk about. Normally when I talk to one of our boards, I usually just kind of give more the stats and things like that. But with you, I've kind of went a little bit more in depth on the benefits of being a part of a special rec association and kind of what that brings the village as well too. So I kind of added that on just because I've not spoken here before. So, so just to kind of give you, so what is CSPAR? So our mission statement is enriching people's lives through recreation. We like put that in a sentence form as well too. Our vision is to discover abilities, achieve potential, and realize dreams. And then, of course, our core values are fun, friendships, caring, trust, and accountability. To kind of give a little story with those core values, kind of a fun story. We did a survey a couple years ago with our participants, and we gave them like 40 different words, and we told them all like, pick the top 5 words that what CSPAR means to you. And literally, the top 4 things were fun, friendship, caring, and trust. So those are the top 4 things that are the most important things that our participants said. And then we added accountability, because we felt as an organization we should be accountable to our stakeholders and everybody else. So that's the story with those 5 words. Let's see here. So this is our service area. Again, this is in alphabetical order, not order of importance. So this is our service area. We serve 13 communities, 7 in DuPage County and 6 in Cook County. It's about a 255,000 general population area and like 75 or 80 square miles or something like that. So it's our service area. So the different types of programs that we offer, I didn't do a lot of justice here because we offer a ton of programs and I'm only putting them between 2 slides. But these are all the things that we offer. So we offer day camp. We had 6 sites this summer, one of which was in Western Springs, which I will talk about that in a minute. We had 99 total kids in our camp, and 11 were from Western Springs, which is actually a pretty good amount, actually. And then we do weekly programs like social clubs, pet therapy, things like that. Oh, and I should say, all of you have in your hands, just the president and trustees, but I gave you all just information about in the little packets, our fall brochure, our summer camp brochure, and then our annual report. But then we do instructional programs like karate, music lessons, those kind of things. Special events, we do all sorts of different special events, Cubs games, Sox games, all that kind of stuff. Special Olympics and adaptive sports, we have 15 different sports that we compete in. Actually, today we competed in today was the golf qualifier for state in Bartlett. So I was actually there this morning, had to be there at like 7:30. And I'm still standing here and I'm good. And we do one adaptive sport called power soccer, which is basically it's like soccer in a power wheelchair. It's kind of fun. We have offered sled hockey and some other sports as well too. But right now we're just doing power soccer. We do cooperative programs, which is like working with schools and other service providers. Ability awarenesses and community awareness. That's just us going out to the community teaching about ability awareness and about what CSPAR does. We have our Eagles Day program is pretty much our biggest program that we do. It's a day program. We have about 95 total participants in it at 4 different sites. And then, of course, virtual programs, which is we do oh no, that moved over. Sorry. That picture was supposed to be not in front of that thing. But so we offer 2 sensory rooms. We have 1 sensory room in Lyle, and then we have 1 here in Western Springs. And then also, I don't know why that moved over, but there's some words behind there. We have another program called Action Club, which is basically it's like a Kiwanis club for people with disabilities. So they actually do service for, they actually raise money and stuff for other outside groups, which is pretty amazing. We do inclusion services, which is we provide support to youth. So if a child with a disability or an adult, mostly a child, signs up for one of your programs, we will actually provide support for youth so that child can get integrated into your program better. And then finally, I just threw in there that we do trips and stuff. So we do all sorts of, we're actually going to Austin, Texas in August, which is kind of fun. So we do big trips as well. These are service hours, kind of hard to see possibly, but these are last year's service hours. It's kind of at the high level on the left is all the different types of programs we offer. We kind of combined things lately to 2019 because that was the last full year prior to the pandemic. And then we've got 22, 23, and 24. But basically, just to kind of put it all in a nutshell on the bottom right, we went up 8.2% from 2023 service hours to 2024 service hours. So we are growing. We're kind of growing across the board. And to get a little bit specific with Western Springs, if you look, basically, again, we had a 8.2% increase, which are the most service hours that we have ever had for CSPAR. And Western Springs alone is 10,051 service hours last year, which is the 6th most out of our 13 communities. So you're kind of right in the middle, which is good. So we also, just to give a basic number, we serve 528 individual participants and 552 seasonal, basically like our core programs, so like basically our brochure programs. So we did actually serve more people, but just in our regular programs, that's how many people, and 42 of them were from Western Springs. And then for inclusion services, we served 118 participants, but you guys only had one who did inclusion. So inclusion is kind of like a tough nut to crack. It could just happen where you've got multiple individuals with disabilities do your programs, and it can go down to only a few. So you guys tend to be on the lower end for inclusion services, which isn't a bad thing. It is what it is. So just to kind of give some more stats. So you guys are basically out of all of our service hours, we serve 7.7% of service hours are just for Western Springs. You're 5.1% of our general population. So in a way, we kind of overserve Western Springs, which is kind of good. And then you're 7.3% of our, in 2024, of our overall member contribution, which I will talk about that in a couple of minutes. So most of our towns are pretty much within a few percentage points for these 3 different stats, which is good. Some other interesting information is just a note that we actually serve more adults than we do children. A lot of people think we serve children mostly, but we actually don't. We actually serve more adults than children. In the summertime, we serve more kids, but year-round it's actually more adults. We are 64% male, 36% female. That's kind of an interesting stat, and with autism prevalence on the rise, 3 out of every 4 individuals who are diagnosed with autism are male. So that's probably why we're seeing that rise in male participation versus female. And even if you look our inclusion numbers, which are younger kids, it's 79% male. So we're really shifting to serving more males than females, which is just, it is what it is. That's all I can say. And just to kind of give just some more recent stats, so this is our winter-spring season. So this is just this last winter. We combine our winter and spring into one season. So again, just a slight increase of 1.3%. Inclusion jumped up 76%. Special events saw a nice increase. We did serve 415 individuals in the winter spring, which is 10 more than last year. And of those, 32% were from Western Springs, which again is 7.7%, which is exactly what it was last year, which is kind of crazy. So just to talk a little bit about our programs and locations. So CSPAR we don't own anything. We own nothing. We don't own any property or any buildings. So we rely on all of our member entities for program space. So we run our programs between 25 to 30 different facilities throughout our 13 communities. So imagine us that the logistics of that are not easy, but we make it work. And that actually, in a way, that does kind of keep our costs down. We don't have that, that overhead of a building with the roofs and all that kind of stuff, so which is great. But again, we rely on all of you to give us space, which you're all great at doing that as best you can. Our main office is in Downers Grove, so we do have an office that we share with the Downers Grove Park District Recreation Center, which is now called the Kathy Mahoney Recreation Center. It just got renamed. We've been in there since 2003. We actually moved in there. Our offices have always been in Downers Grove. They usually, every time that they bought a piece of property like a park, there was usually a farmhouse on it, and they would give us a farmhouse. And so we were at 3 different farmhouses, and now we're part of the rec center. But the houses usually were, a lot of mice lived in there, and there was one that was haunted too. So it's nice having a nice newer office and everything. So, and then we have 4 dedicated spaces. So Darien Sportsplex, Brookfield Municipal Building, Lau Recreation Center, and the Canal Center in Lamont. Those are our 4 day program sites. So those are exclusive use for us for those buildings, which is great. And then just to give some operational information about CSPAR, this is a picture from Halloween, I think 2 years ago. The guy in the front, he's Jake Cutler, Smoking Cutler, which is kind of funny. Anyway, so just to give us a little bit, we have 16 full-time staff. We have, actually right now we have over 200 part-time staff right now. In the summer we jump up a lot. But over 2/3 of them reside in our member entities, and I mention it just because the good thing is hopefully we pay them, and hopefully they kind of keep their money in town, if that makes sense. So we have about 120 volunteers, and then we actually operate 10 vehicles, so 6 that are lift equipped, 2 non-lift, and 2 minivans. Our lift equipped ones are, and our non-lift, they're 15 passenger with the driver, and then 2 minivans. Okay, whew. I was worried about this picture being moved over in this one. So just to talk about our programs in Western Springs, this is just actually ironically, I wish I could have thanked the fire department when they were here, but this is actually just last week when they brought a fire engine to our camp at Field Park Elementary, which is awesome. So that's just a picture of our campers and the fire engine. We average about 9 kids a week at this particular camp, but they can sign up week by week. So it ranges anywhere from 6 to 11 kids per week. So that's kind of a cool picture there. And just more stuff that we do. We use the Grand Avenue Community Center a lot. For example, one of our 3 social club sites is right here in Western Springs, and it's summer. We have 28 participants in that program, so it's every Friday night. It actually goes up a little bit in the fall and the winter, spring, and Western Springs has been our social club site for decades and decades. We used to be we were at a bank down here at one point, and now we're at Grand Avenue. We also, the picture moved over, but that's okay. We also do a walking club once a week at Spring Rock Park. This picture is actually obviously not at the park. I think that was a rain day, so they're in LaGrange, I think, right there. So we do that program as well. It shifted over. Okay, so that's really weird how it did that. So, so we do. If I were to move it over, we did just a few months ago at McClure Junior High School. We did an ability awareness there. We also work with St. John of the Cross here as well. They do a free day for us where we can bring our participants. And I also mentioned too that we visit private businesses here all the time. And we used to do our Holiday Spectacular at the Theater Western Springs, but unfortunately for accessibility purposes, we really couldn't have it there anymore. It's a really nice old, it's a great theater, but we've got some of our performers and were in wheelchairs, and it was kind of difficult getting them out onto that. So we moved to a different theater. Okay, just moved over. Okay, so just to talk about our sensory room again, we have our Ray's Bay here, which was named after a longtime CSPAR board member Ray Jessica. I don't know if anyone knows Ray Jessica in town. So Ray was on a board for 22 years. Super supportive of C-SPAR, and we also call it Raised Bay because it kind of has an aquatic theme. So there's like a waterbed in there, and we have like waves that are kind of on the wall and things like that. So we kind of have an aquatic theme for that one. But each of our sensory rooms kind of are they're the same, but they're different. So they kind of have a different feel to them. So, oh no. So just to talk about the highlights, basically what the benefits are of a sensory room. So again, just improves mood, lowers disruptive behaviors, decrease anxiety, decrease fear, and improvement in communication, and enhance interpersonal interactions. That's what all those words are back there. But just to kind of give, so sensory rooms were initially designed for individuals on the autistic spectrum, but they really benefit everybody. And just to give you one quick story, one of our participants' mom told us I'm actually going to go jump to the next one. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. This one worked good. So if you look on the bottom right, that's a color wheel. And basically, we've got these bubble tubes, and there's like different colors. And when you hit the different colors, it'll say like green, and it turns to green. Well, she literally said that her daughter could never associate color names to colors until she came to our sensory room. And she actually learned her colors basically through our sensory room. So it's just amazing, all those different kind of stories. But then we also do other programs there as well. We do sensory seekers, and we do visits and day camp and all those types of things. So we use the room quite a bit. So thank you for giving us that space. Okay, just to talk about some C-SPAR awards, just to brag a little bit, but we did get the Distinguished Accreditation last year, which is it's like a Parks and Recreation, through the Illinois Park and Recreation Association. If you get your Distinguished Accreditation, it's kind of hard to get. So we actually got it last year, which is great. We also got the IPRA Exceptional Workplace Award last year. We got the GFOA, the Government Finance Officers Association ratings. We got that in 22 and 23, and we should get it for 24, which is great. And we also won third place in the brochure series for our brochure series. And that exclusively inclusive logo on the right there, that actually is trademarked by C-SPAR, which is kind of fun. So that was like about a 2-year process when we came up with that like tagline, and we actually trademarked it. So I'm hoping that some company out there, organization, wants to buy from us for like a couple $1 million. We will happily sell it to them. And those signs, the sign language means you belong here. So that's what that means. I get nervous. Okay, so just some more highlights. It's all kind of hidden right now, but the village of Willowbrook joined us last year. So we have one more new member. And I also talked about just our strategic plan. We're in year 3 this current year, and then some of the highlights that we did. We introduced first come, first serve for our day camp programs versus lottery system, and just some other great things, highlights. And then here's some information about fundraising. We kind of got away from doing a lot of fundraising. So we're like a weird organization. We're a government entity because we receive some public funds, kind of like a pseudo-government, but we're also a non-for-profit. So we actually kind of have like two hats, which is kind of unique. So we did do some fundraising, but we've kind of gotten away from doing golf outings and those kind of things because the return on investment just wasn't there. We would spend so much time putting together these outings to make $7-8 grand, so it just wasn't worth it. So we really have focused on more sponsorships and grants as well too. So a lot more sponsorships. We actually got a grant from the Illinois Department of Human Services last year for $250,000, and then we work with lots of different service clubs. And we do a SIPS for C-SPAR, which it's on September 3rd. So if you like to go to breweries, Alter and Downers Grove, we get $1 for every beer sold, which is great. To give a little bit of history, background information, so legislation was passed in the late 60s that allowed park districts and villages to levy what's called a special recreation tax. It says something, legally it's a different name, but I like to call it the special recreation tax. I think it's tax for the handicap, which isn't very nice. So we say special recreation tax. So that passed in 1970. The first SRA was formed, which is NSSRA, and they're based in Highland Park. We were formed in 1976. The Village of Western Springs joined us in 1990, so you've been a member of CSPAR for 35 years. And then next year we get to celebrate 50 years, which is great. So just talk a little bit about the special recreation tax. I hope I'm not going too long. I apologize if I am. So you guys can levy, villages and park districts can levy up to 0.04%. The primary purpose is to be used for programming. And you must be a member of a special recreation to be able to impose that levy. Right now, our current rate is 0.0165, and we're actually one of, if not the lowest, out of all the special recreation associations. And again, all of our members pay the same rate. So it's not based on population or your participation or nothing. It's just one rate for everybody. Now, you can levy more than the 0.0165. If you want to go more than that, you can. And that money could be used to pay for your inclusion services, and there's other ADA purposes that you can use it for. I think here in Western Springs, you guys kind of levy basically what we ask for, I think, maybe a slightly more. But some of our members do the full 4%. So that's your choice. So basically being a part of a special recreation association, just to kind of talk about it, just creates a community where everyone belongs. So again, you have access to hundreds and hundreds of programs that any individual town would not be able to offer if you were just offering it just to your own town. Of course, specialized programs, so we specialize our programs for participants with disabilities. Of course, inclusion services, it does help meet your ADA requirement to serve individuals in your community with different disabilities. And of course, just resources and trainings. And again, pooling resources together just makes a lot more sense. And just to kind of give a quick story too, actually one of your residents here, they're from Boston, and they purposely haven't moved back to Boston. They retired. I'm not going to say who it is, but they don't want to move back to Boston because they don't have any special recreation services. So Illinois is the only state in the entire country that has SRAs, kind of like community-based special rec associations where public entities combine resources. We're the only state. So we're not great in a lot of ways for services with people with disabilities, but when it comes to recreation and leisure services, we're actually the best in the country. And then just, I actually got a call a few weeks ago from a family that moved to Minnesota, and they called and they're like, "There's no services here." I go, "No, there's not." It's just amazing that, you know, we hear all the time when people move away that there's just no, there's no CSPARs out there. Basically, it's just in Illinois. So to kind of give more stats and more stats. So again, just to, you know, according to the CDC, 26% of adults in the U.S. have some type of a disability. Really, only about 1% of them would probably benefit from our services, but that's just kind of out there. 91% of Americans believe communities should offer inclusive activities. And of course, 70% of parents of children with disabilities reports social isolation. So as you know, child with disability can go to school until they're 22. Once they're out of school, that's when they fall off that cliff, as they say. And all those services that were provided for free are gone. So that's why we generally serve more adults, because that's usually when they actually come to us. To give more stats, again, just to kind of give some stats, 54% of our revenue is from member contributions. Western Springs last year, that's what you contributed, $126,000, which is 6.4% of all of our member contributions. But the way I look at it is you get back $3.8 million in services. So that's basically our budget. So for contributing that relatively small amount, your residents get, 500 to 600 programs a year that they can be a part of. And again, 90% of Illinois, more than 90% of Illinois municipalities belong to a special rec association. And just to kind of talk about our challenges. So obviously we've got challenges just like you all do as well. We got budget constraints, so the rising wages, the Paid Leave for All Workers Act. So we've been dealing with that. Inflation is out there too. The needs for our participants are rising. So autism prevalence, I think it's 1 in 36 right now, according to the CDC. That's rising, and of course, we're seeing more medically fragile individuals with multi-disabilities as well too. So that's out there, and of course, facility space is also a concern for us. We've already kind of maxed out our office space. Our day program, we have people on the wait list, but we can't add until we get a fifth site. We cannot add any more participants. So that's always an issue. Talk about just our future plans or just continued growth, inclusion, day camp, Eagles. All of our areas are growing. We're using AI more and more now. EPAC system, which is a system for us for better communication and such, and just really developing our staff, that work-life balance, their education, everything that we can do to make a good work environment for our staff. That picture is actually 4 of our bowlers, and the woman in blue, that's Deandra Asbeatty, who's a professional bowler. So she actually hosts a tournament for us every year. So that's her with our bowlers. And I think that's about it for me. So I'm happy to, take any questions if you have any. And I just want to thank you for giving me all the time that you did. I'm sorry if I hijacked your meeting. This actual picture was just last weekend. We took a group to Lilacia Park in Lombard. And I just threw that picture in it because it was just a recent picture. So, but I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Yeah. Anyone have any questions?
First of all, this is the first I've heard of this.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah.
I was flabbergasted by the number of different programs you have.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that children and adults with special needs not only benefit from these programs, but the challenge that I see is how do you get these people to different places? You can't have each of these programs here. Do you have a transportation unit that they get them to that? And
It's.
there's a lot of just.
Oh, sure.
Before you answer,
Oh.
just so that, because he wasn't like.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so the gentleman in the office, out in the audience, thank you for your kind words. But basically, he just asked how we get participants to and from our programs, what our transportation system is. That's a great question. So what we do is, again, we serve 13 different communities. What we do is we will offer a lot of programs on the east and the west. So for programs that we do not offer transportation for, trying to think of some examples, like our walking club, for example, we will offer it in Western Springs, and then we will offer it in Lisle. And our goal is we want families to be within about 15 minutes from a program. So for a lot of our programs that we don't offer transportation for, we offer basically a east and west site. Then for transportation, we don't do door-to-door, but we do pickup points. So we will do pickup points for, like, say, social club, or actually, that's actually a bad example. For one of our special events, we will do a pickup in the east at Denning Park in LaGrange. We also will pick up at C-Spar in Downers Grove. We also will sometimes pick up in Darien, which is more in the south, and we have picked up in Lamont as well. So we basically offer, that's why we have 10 vehicles. So we would do a pickup route with, again, the goal for no one traveling more than 15 minutes or so to a pickup point or to a location. So that's how we do it. Unfortunately, for some of our residents that are kind of on what we call like our collar counties, or our collar towns, you guys aren't so bad, because Western Springs, you're surrounded for the most part, so you're kind of in a good spot. But individuals that are kind of south in Lamont or up by Brookfield, unfortunately, they will sometimes have to drive a little bit to get to our office or whatever, but we just do the best we can. But like most park district programs and village recreation programs, you guys don't offer transportation in most cases. So it's pretty typical to not offer transportation, but because of our service area, we kind of do it a couple different ways that help kind of shorten that commute for the families. But we do not do door-to-door transportation. That's one thing that we don't do, so, yeah.
Great, thanks.
Thank you for the question.
Trustees, any questions?
Thank you for all you do.
Oh,
Thank you for
You're
the
welcome.
presentation, for walking us through that, and really for the terrific services that you provide.
thank you.
So-
Yeah, I talked really fast. I apologize
Thank
for
you.
that, but I wanted to get as much information as I can. So, anytime you guys have any questions, just call me or email me. Casey has my information. And also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We are C-SPAR is our Instagram, and I think C-SPAR is just our Facebook page. And we also, cspar.org is our website. And be sure to do our e-blast. So we do like a monthly e-blast. I promise it won't be that much. It's just like monthly, but usually our monthly e-blast. And I actually send something to, I always send it to, well, now you, and I do like a once a month once as well. So you can share it with the trustees or whoever you want to share it with too, so.
Great. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you very much.
I
Thanks for
appreciate it.
coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Now we are going to move on to convene the public hearing concerning the right-of-way sale of 5150 Woodland Avenue and 5200 Woodland Avenue. And we begin this with a roll call from Clerk Tinnick, please.
Yes, President Rudolph. Trustee Avakian.
Here.
Trustee Chen.
Here.
Trustee Fink.
Here.
Trustee Lewis.
Here.
Trustee Martin.
Here.
Trustee Naraki is absent.
All right, thank you very much. And now, Director Supert, can you acknowledge and confirm the publication of the public notice?
Yes, the public notice was published in the Doings newspaper on July 10th.
Great, thank you. And do we have a statement from either petitioner? Petitioner Griffin?
Yeah. Does this work?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm John Griffin. This is the third time I've gone through this process. I think when it's all said and done, the sidewalk, the easement, et cetera, is in better condition. There's a new sidewalk. It's handicap accessible. There's signage, et cetera. Currently, the access up there is not very good. It's, it goes to south, so it'll be a direct access. Jason and I have come to agreement, so there's no conflict between myself or the person to the south. So I think overall, the pricing's all set, et cetera. So I think overall, it should be an easy one to finish.
Great, thanks, John. And statement from Jason Van Beveren.
Jason Van Beveren. I agree with John. The right-of-way being vacated to build, I think he's going to build a house, and I'm going to add to our house that we, or our property, I should say, we built in 2021. We're going to widen the driveway because it's narrow and add a garage. So, but I think that's it.
Okay, great, thank you. And I understand we have a public comment that will be read into the record by Attorney Skransky.
Thank you. There was a public comment received from Doreen and James Vogt, 5213 Central Avenue. And the subject is request to vacate a portion of the 52nd Street right-of-way. Having been notified of the above request to vacate a portion of the 52nd Street right-of-way, we would like to provide input to the final decision. As we will be out of town on the date of the public hearing, we respectfully request that our statement be read into the record. First, we feel that the recommendation of the Village's Properties and Recreation Committee to approve the vacation and conveyance of title to Shweta and Jason Van Beveren and to John Griffin is a sound decision in keeping with the best interest of the Village of Western Springs. Second, John Griffin has an excellent track record of construction in the Forest Hills area, and we have complete confidence that Mr. Griffin's plan for his portion of the property will be completed with quality, professionalism, and sensitivity to the neighboring properties. Thank you for the opportunity to provide input to the committee's decision.
Great, thank you. Do we have any other public comment?
No.
Otherwise? Okay, thank you. All right, trustees, any questions? I think we've heard a lot about this. Any other questions? Okay, I'm glad we were able to get to a good resolution on this. Okay, is there a motion to authorize the right-of-way sale as presented?
I'll make a motion to authorize the right-of-way sale as presented.
All right, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
And may we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, President Rudolph. Trustee Vakian.
Aye.
Trustee Chen.
Aye.
Trustee Fink.
Aye.
Trustee Lewis.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Trustee Naraki is absent. Motion carries.
Great, thank you. And may I please have a motion to close the public hearing?
I will make that motion to close the public hearing.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, do I have to do a roll call for that too?
You can call for ayes if you'd like to.
Okay, all in favor of closing?
Aye.
Okay, opposed, great, thank you. All right, thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen. Again, thank you for the resolution. Thank you for working together on this. Okay, now we will return to the agenda for the July 21st, 2025 regular meeting of the President and Board of Trustees. Now we are going to move on to the items that we'll see on the omnibus tonight, but first we'll have the approval of the meeting minutes of the November 6th, 2024 special joint workshop of the Economic Development Commission and the President and Board of Trustees. Am I calling? Sorry. I'm doing this correctly. Am I just reading these right here? Just saying that these will be on the omnibus.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
they'll be approved
All right.
on this.
Okay, and then the next item will be the approval of the meeting minutes of the June 16th, 2025 regular meeting of the Village Board of Trustees. The next couple of items are appointments. We will see the appointment of John Dixon to the Liquor Commission for a 3-year term, which will be on the omnibus, and then also the reappointment of Pete Kasanovich to the Transportation and Safety Commission for a 3-year term, also an omnibus item. We'll move on to the committee reports. We'll begin with General Government Committee. Trustee Chen.
No report tonight.
All right, thank you very much. Then moving to the Finance Committee report. Trustee Martin.
Yes, we did have one item that we discussed. I'm going to ask Finance Director John Mastodona to take us through it, but we are recommending an ordinance regarding a grocery retailer's tax in Western Springs.
Okay.
Thank you, Trustee Martin. Just to provide a little background, in the state of Illinois, certain food products sold in grocery stores and other food stores that are generally foods meant to be prepared and consumed at home are subject to a state 1% sales tax, which is much lower than the regular sales tax. As part of the state's budget process last year, Public Act 103-0781 was approved by state legislators, which repeals the statewide sales tax collection on groceries. Previously, the state was always collecting this 1% and distributing it to the municipalities of where the local sale occurred. Also included in the Public Act was a transfer of the authority to impose the grocery tax from the state level down to the local municipalities. So this ordinance for discussion tonight is really a continuation of the current practice of the sales tax on groceries as it is today. We're going to discuss it tonight for potential approval next month at the August board meeting. But just to confirm, there would be no overlap between the state sales tax on groceries right now as we know it and the locally imposed one. It's really just a continuation of when the state's expires is when ours would start.
And other municipalities are all going through the same process right now, if we understand correctly?
Correct, yeah. As of last week, I believe there was 288 municipalities that already took action on imposing it at a local level.
Is there any different sort of administrative burden on our retailers? Are those retailers or stores, Mariano's, Starbucks, otherwise, that have grocery items, would anything change for them?
No. Right now, because it's already in place, it would just be a continuation of reporting exactly the same way as they are, because it's still going to be administrated through the state at the state level. But no, their systems are all set up to do
Okay.
the same.
Okay, further some comments from the committee?
No, I think John has really helped the committee understand what the surrounding communities are doing, certainly understanding what the change is, but would not be alone in considering this and continuing it, and it's instrumental to our budget. We rely on this money, so I think we all know how important it is for us to keep the status quo as much as we can.
Which is what that would do. Trustee Lewis?
I agree.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions about this? I think we've talked about it in the past, so I think everybody's pretty familiar with, again, kind of the background that Director Mastandona has provided. But any other questions, Trustee Fink? Okay, so again, tonight, this is discussion item?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
We'll bring it
Director.
forward next month.
Okay. Director Mastandona, anything else?
No, I did not.
Well, can I just ask one?
Okay, yep.
You said that it would be a smooth transition. I don't know, like, when will the state stop collecting it and putting it in their coffers, and then when will they're collecting it and, I don't know. You said it was like, so like, the public won't notice any difference. There's not gonna be a point where they don't have it on their grocery bill.
Correct, yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if it is passed before October.
Oh, okay.
First is the deadline that the state would have to
Oh, that's-
receive our local ordinance.
Oh,
There would
okay.
be no gap. The statewide sales tax is set to expire January 1,
January 1.
2026.
Okay.
And that's when our local imposed sales tax
Great.
for groceries.
So you have to take action before October.
Right.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Again, then kind of going, I mean, building upon that with the kind of the state collecting, all of that stays the same. The processes are all the same. Okay. 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 Right.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. All right, moving to Planning and Zoning Committee, Trustee Fink.
All right, we have 4 items. That's all regarding the 5129 Wolf Road, the sale of the church and school that is just north of Springdale Park. These are all on the omnibus tonight. They were reviewed by the Planning Commission in April and the Planning and Zoning Committee and approved in April as well. And Director Vallone was going to provide specifics on this.
Absolutely, thank you, Trustee Fink. I'm going to go ahead and put on the screen, just a couple of slides to reorient us. I gave an update on this application on May 19th. So I'm just going to refresh your minds and provide a little bit of updated information. So as many of you are aware, there is a church, St. James Lutheran Church, that was located at 5129 Wolf. You can see it outlined in red on the screen. It was a church that has been in operation for quite some time and has stopped their operations. The site has changed a few times in the recent past, mostly related to its shape. Previously, the site included 2 additional parcels. This home, which was built after the church sold a piece of property, and then this parcel over here that was sold to the property owner of 5120 Johnson Avenue that he now owns. So as you may remember, the applicant is seeking to reestablish the cul-de-sac that is currently at the end of the 5100 block of Johnson Avenue further south, and then create a 5-lot subdivision. As part of that, they are requesting a vacation of the existing cul-de-sac. So you can see on the screen outlined, this is the existing cul-de-sac. They're proposing, again, to move the cul-de-sac south to reestablish it to allow for the redevelopment of the property with 5 single-family lots. So the vacation is actually an application brought by 3 property owners. The first is the property owner of 5120 Johnson Avenue. As you can see on the screen, the blue area highlighted would be vacated to that existing property owner. The area in purple would be vacated to the property owner of 5121 Johnson Avenue. And then the applicant who's here tonight, which is RMS General Contractors LLC, also St. James Court LLC, would be vacated the orange portion. So again, the applicant is looking to reestablish the cul-de-sac south so that he is able to redevelop with 5 single-family lots that you see on the screen. Since the update on May 19th, the property owner has finalized all of his plans, including his plats and his engineering plans that are included in your packet tonight. Additionally, they have met all recommendations from the Planning and Zoning Committee and that of the Planning Commission. Those recommendations from the Planning Commission and the Planning and Zoning Committee were generally technical in nature. There were some updates related to inconsistency between the plats and the engineering plans, which have been completed, and also revisions to the engineering plans based on Director Supert and Director Kozo's comments. So again, the applicant has addressed all these items, provided updated plats and documentation for us. Additionally, they did purchase the property from the church on July 7th. They purchased the property through another LLC, St. James Court LLC, which is why you see that reflected in the updated documents that you see in front of you. The St. James Court LLC will be the landholder, and RMS General Contractors will remain the developer. In your packet tonight, there's a series of ordinances and a resolution. These ordinances and resolutions will remove the existing conditional uses on the property for it to be utilized as currently sits for the church. Also, it will remove a relatively old conditional use related to a child care service that was operated on the property quite some time ago. There was a redevelopment agreement that requires that the applicants redevelop the cul-de-sac and the lots as indicated in the documents in front of you. Additionally, there's a plat of vacation to vacate the edges of that cul-de-sac. And then there's a plat of re-subdivision that would reestablish the 5 lots they are looking for, configure the existing lot at 5120 to be a regular lot, and also to rededicate land to the village for the reestablished cul-de-sac. These ordinances and resolutions are very similar to the previous one that you saw for the First United Methodist Church earlier this year, where the developer is removing and reconstructing certain public improvements that will eventually be dedicated to the village. I can take any questions that you have. Also, the RMS General Contractors and their engineer and their attorney are here if you have any additional questions. Given that we are on a single meeting month, the items are included on the omnibus in the event that you would like to act on them tonight.
Thank you.
No questions. That's all I have.
Any recommendation then from the committee?
Yes, they recommended approving this in April.
Okay. Any trustees have any further questions? Okay.
Sounds like a great solution.
All right. Very good. Then these will all be on the omnibus then tonight. Thank you. Thank you, Director Vallone. Okay. Move to Public Works and Water Committee. Trustee Lewis.
Thank you, President Rudolph. Now that funding is available as a result of the successful bond referendum, village staff has been working very hard to get the ball rolling on several critical infrastructure projects identified in our comprehensive capital improvement plan. As part of that effort, the village has engaged outside engineering firms to complete project scoping reports for several projects. The reports will help us better understand what we are getting ourselves into. For example, the reports will provide updated engineering and construction costs, confirm limits of water, sanitary, and storm sewer improvements, and evaluate curb, gutter, and sidewalk replacement needs. So last week, our Public Works and Water Committee discussed and is recommending full board approval of professional services agreement with 3 firms, CRISPR B. Burke Engineering, Seabell, HR Green, and Baxter and Woodman. First, the Seabell scoping proposal covers portions of Forest Hills, including 51st Street from Flag Creek to Willow Springs Road, and several adjoining north-south streets, including Wolf Road. The preliminary project scope includes the reconstruction of the street and the upsizing or replacement of storm sewer. Water main replacement and sidewalk improvements are also anticipated. The agreement is for an amount not to exceed $379,270. Second is a professional services agreement with HR Green. HR Green will evaluate road improvements in and around the Commonwealth subdivision, including the replacement of water main and possible reestablishment of an emergency water interconnect with Hinsdale. The agreement for that is an amount not to exceed $121,941. And lastly is an agreement with Baxter and Woodman for project scoping for portions of the Ridgewood subdivision in areas around Mines Township High School. The professional services agreement is for an amount not to exceed $140,000. And we are asking, our committee recommended approval of those, and we're asking that they be placed on the omnibus for consideration later this evening. Any questions about those things?
Anyone have any questions?
All right, moving on. Our committee is also recommending the full board approve a bid waiver and contract with Concentric Integration as a sole source provider for an amount not to exceed $27,130. The money will be used to improve security at 3 water distribution locations identified during a risk assessment performed by our police department. And we'll hope to have that on the omnibus next month.
Okay.
Any questions about that?
Good, thank you.
All right. Moving on. Work began last month on the Big Springdale Drainage Improvements Project. The contractors are making good progress with the detention basin construction in Springdale Park and storm sewer and water main installation on 52nd Place. At our Public Works and Committee meeting last week, we reviewed and indicated approval of a significant change order to the $5,188,313 project that the full board will consider at our August meeting. It was recently determined that much more excavation is needed in Springdale Park to create the stormwater basin than was represented in the bid documents that went out to potential contractors. So unfortunately, the estimated cost increase is about $327,000. The work has to be done, however, to ensure that the basin will work properly. On a more positive note, it's also been determined another design change to the basin could improve some flooding, provide some flooding reduction benefits on Wolf Road or other downstream locations. Adding a small berm on the around the west and south sides of the basin at a cost of about $70,000 should reduce flooding that sometimes occurs on Wolf Road and 53rd Street. And lastly, as a part of that change order, our committee is recommending we spend an additional $10,000 to have our contractor demolish the existing Springdale Park Pavilion while they are there. The demolition will free up workspace for the contractor and allow the contractor to more easily install the new storm sewer further away from some mature trees in the park. The Park District recently announced they've received a grant to build a new pavilion, so it would be coming down before too long anyway. And that change order, all of those would be part of the change order that should be ready for formal consideration at our August meeting.
Okay.
Any questions about all of those?
It's a lot of information, a lot of reports, questions?
What was the cost of the demolition? Did you detail that?
$10,000 for the
The
Park
demolition?
District
Oh,
Pavilion.
$10,000?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
okay.
guys are already in the park working and they have the equipment.
Oh,
so-
okay. Yeah, and there are some very mature trees to the south of that, so, yeah.
One of the,
Okay,
they'll have a little more room to get away from those trees.
Right.
Which should help.
yes. Wow, I went to day camp when I grew up in Springdale. I went to day camp. I spent a lot of time in that pavilion in those bathrooms.
Its days are
I guess
numbered.
it's time to move on. Okay.
And let's see, update on water treatment, bulk chemical storage tanks. At our meeting, we learned that there's an issue with the bulk chemical storage tank at the water treatment plant. It's leaking and will need to be replaced. For now, we're keeping storage levels below the problem spot. And the issue is a little complicated because the old tank is so large that it will be difficult to remove. And we're trying to figure things out on that. Anyway, more to come as we determine the best path forward. And that's all I have. If there are any more questions.
Questions, comments? Okay.
That concludes my report.
Okay. Well, good news with the forward motion on all of these projects, so thank you. Thank you for that update. Okay, the Properties and Recreation Committee report. Trustee Chen.
Yes, I am going to read this. So this item, independent contractor agreements renewal, it says it's an omnibus item. The village has existing independent contractor agreements with Kensington School, Grand Avenue Preschool and Daycare, Joe's Footwork Studio, Montessori School of Western Springs, and the Western Springs Historical Society. The agreements outline economic and non-economic provisions for each contractor to utilize space in the Recreation Center and/or Grand Avenue Community Center. 5 agreements will expire on on June 30th, 2025, and staff recommends a one-year renewal with the same 2% annual increase, which is consistent with annual increases over the last 5 years. The contract with Maddox Music Studio expires in December of 2025, and staff expect to return at that time with the renewal to align them with the other agreements. The Properties and Recreation Committee reviewed this item at their meeting on May 8th, 2025, and recommended it to be considered by the full board. Do I need to make a motion to recommend it?
No, I don't think
Okay.
so. It's on the, it'll appear on.
Okay, all right. Unless there's any questions, that
Yep. Any
concludes my
questions?
report.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Trustee Chen. And Public Health and Safety Committee, Trustee Avakian.
Thank you. We are recommending that we purchase 2 new cardiac monitor defibrillators from Zoll Medical Corporation. The 2 we have are about 9 years old, and they're not doing all the cool, fun tricks and things that everyone would like, including real-time CPR and ventilation feedback, advanced diagnostic tools, integrated telemedicine capabilities, really just empowering our paramedics with enhanced clinical and diagnosis insight in the field. And again, 9 years old is a long time for a medical equipment where everything's kind of evolving often. So the cost for that will be $93,130.68. They did send a team of paramedics and EMS to check out a couple of different guys or machines, and it was agreed that the Zoll X Series Advantage is the only one that will meet all of our department's selection criteria, so also suggesting that we waive the bidding process for that. Any questions? Did I miss anything?
And this was a budgeted item?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Thank you. We'll have that on the omnibus then as well. Thank you. All right. Well, moving on then, we will move to action on our agenda items, and we're going to move to the omnibus. The Illinois state statutes allow a municipality to collectively vote on a group of ordinances, resolutions, and other motions such as awards of contracts, appointments, etc. This is known as an omnibus vote. All the items contained on the omnibus vote list have been previously discussed by the President and Board of Trustees on at least one occasion and often on several occasions. By placing them on the omnibus vote list, a single vote may be taken to approve them. A trustee may remove any item from the list and have it discussed and voted on separately prior to the omnibus. Is there any such request tonight? All right, very good. Then to the consideration of the omnibus, Trustee Chen.
Thank you. President Rudolph, I move that the following ordinances, resolutions, and motions as contained on the meeting agenda for July 21st, 2025 be adopted and/or approved under an omnibus vote. Agenda item number 19A, a motion to approve the meeting minutes of the November 6, 2024 special joint workshop of the Economic Development Commission and the President and Board of Trustees. Agenda item B, a motion to approve the meeting minutes of the June 16th, 2025 regular meeting of the President and Board of Trustees and the June 16th, 2025 special meeting of the President and Board of Trustees. Agenda item C, a motion to approve the appointment of John Dixon to the Liquor Commission for a 3-year term. Agenda item D, a motion to approve the reappointment of Pete Kosanovich to the Transportation and Safety Commission for a 3-year term. Agenda item E, ordinance number 25-3273, an ordinance rescinding and repealing the village approval of ordinance number 95-1939, granting a conditional use permit for the operation of a Montessori school at the 5129 Wolf Road property within the St. James Evangelical Lutheran Church, and ordinance number 16-2833, granting a conditional use permit for Lot 3 of St. James, second addition to Western Springs re-subdivision for the continued operation of the St. James Evangelical Lutheran Church and other group assembly uses at 5129 Wolf Road, and preliminary and final approval of development plans for on-site improvements to Lot 1, 2, and 3 of said re-subdivision for certain parking areas, driveway areas, accessory buildings, landscape buffer areas, fenced installation, and ingress and egress points at Johnson Avenue in order to facilitate the demolition of a church building and removal of accessory structures and construction of an extended Johnson Avenue with a new Johnson Avenue cul-de-sac to facilitate a 5-lot residential subdivision on Lot 3 in St. James, second addition to Western Springs subdivision. Agenda item F, resolution number 25-2929, a resolution authorizing the approval and execution of a redevelopment agreement by and between the Village of Western Springs, Illinois, and R&M General Contractors, LLC, and its Exhibit A consent and waiver agreement for the construction of a 5-lot, single-family residence subdivision and the demolition of a church building and public property removal work, the extension of Johnson Avenue and reconstruction of the Johnson Avenue cul-de-sac, public sidewalk and parkway area, 5129 South Wolf Road, Western Springs, Illinois. Agenda item G, ordinance number 25-3274, an ordinance approving and authorizing the vacation of portions of the Johnson Avenue right-of-way adjacent to the 5120 Johnson Avenue property, the 5121 Johnson Avenue property, and the 5129 South Wolf Road property that are outside of the 66-foot wide center portion of the Johnson Avenue right-of-way located in Western Springs, Illinois, and that fee simple title to the portions of vacated Johnson Avenue rights-of-way be conveyed to the property owners of the 5120 Johnson Avenue property, the 5121 Johnson Avenue property, and the 5129 South Wolf Road property owners adjacent to the proposed vacated portions of Johnson Avenue, Andrew Schreiber, Randy Porzel, and Chicago Synod of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. Agenda item H, ordinance number 25-3275. An ordinance authorizing the approval and execution of a final plat of Johnson Avenue re-subdivision for a 5-lot, single-family residence subdivision at 5129 South Wolf Road, Western Springs, Illinois, by applicant, contractor, purchaser, RM General Contractors, LLC, and the dedication of extended Johnson Avenue and a new Johnson Avenue cul-de-sac. Agenda item I, resolution number 25-2930, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement between the Village of Western Springs and Christopher B. Berg Engineering Limited of Rosemont, Illinois, for preliminary engineering and project scoping services for the 2025 referendum projects. Agenda item J, resolution number 25-2931, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement between the Village of Western Springs and H.R. Green, Inc. of Chicago, Illinois, for preliminary engineering and project scoping services for the 2025 referendum projects. Agenda item K, resolution number 25-2932, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement between the Village of Western Springs and Baxter and Woodman, Inc. of Mokina, Illinois, for preliminary engineering and project scoping services for the 2025 referendum projects. Agenda item L, resolution number 25-2933, a resolution waiving the competitive bid process in lieu of purchase from a sole source provider and approving and authorizing the execution of a vendor contract with Zoll Medical Corporation of Chelmsford, Massachusetts, for the purchase of Zoll Series X advanced monitors and defibrillators in an amount not to exceed $93,130.68. Agenda item M, resolution number 25-2934, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of independent contractor agreements between the Village of Western Springs and Premier Illinois LLC, Kensington School of Western Springs, Inc., Joe's Footwork Studio, Montessori School of Western Springs, and Western Springs Historical Society.
Thank you very much. Do we have a second?
Second.
Very good, thank you. Trustee Martin. May we have a roll call vote, please, on the omnibus?
Yes, President Rudolph. Trustee Avakian.
Aye.
Trustee Chen.
Aye.
Trustee Fink.
Aye.
Trustee Lewis.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Trustee Naraki is absent. President Rudolph.
Aye.
The ordinances, resolutions, and motions contained in the agenda of July 21st, 2025 are hereby adopted or approved.
Thank you very much. Moving on our agenda, new business. Manager Bear, anything on new business?
No new business.
And similarly, old business?
No old business.
Okay, move on to reports. Our monthly financial report, Trustee Martin.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to ask Director Macedona to take us through our liquidity and fund activity for the month of June.
Thank you, Trustee Martin. Included in the agenda packet is the monthly financial report for June 2025, and I'll just go through some of the highlights. In June, the Police Pension Fund posted realized and unrealized gains of 3.07% and maintained a trailing 12-month return of 12.72%. The market value of the police pension portfolio is approximately $21.4 million, with an additional $708,000 cash on hand. Going through some of the funds, the general fund, a lot of the key metrics we look at for revenue and expenditures are hovering around 50%, which is exactly where we would anticipate it to be in our budget now that we are halfway through the year. The delay in the second installment of property tax payments, right now we do not have a current update. Normally they are mailed out around July 1st with a due date of August 1st, so about a month lag from when they are mailed out, and to this point they have not been mailed out, so they will definitely be missing the August 1st deadline, and really our guidelines was just it was going to be after September 1st, so we will keep track of that and let the board know as soon as we have any update. Consumption billed in June covers the period between March 15th, 2025 to May 15th, 2025 was 13% higher than 2024. That brings year-to-date consumption about 11.88% higher than this point in 2024. And just kind of as Trustee Lewis talked about, the Springdale Detention Basin project has started in June, so that large surplus that we see due to the bond proceeds coming in May, we'll see that starting to dwindle down a little bit as that project continues and expenditures are paid out of there. That's
Great.
all I have.
Any questions for John? Thank you. That's it? Oh, sorry. Could I have a motion to approve the financial report as presented?
I move to approve the financial report as presented.
And a second?
Second?
All
Great.
right.
Could I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Trustee Avakian.
Aye.
Trustee Fink.
Aye.
Trustee Chen.
Aye.
Trustee Naraki is absent. Trustee Lewis.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. I don't have a report, but I do want to call out and thank our Public Works and Municipal Services. I know there have been a lot of water main breaks and issues going on, some of which are quite hard to diagnose, and really appreciate the efforts. It seems like we're back to January in terms of the amount. So I know it is a lot of work, and we really appreciate the team's dedication to this. I know it's just, they don't happen during business hours, I have noticed. So, Director Super, I don't know if you want to.
No, thank you. I'll pass it along to our Public Works team. We actually, we get a lot of good feedback from the community through emails. We actually post it on the fridge down at the Public Works garage to try and keep the team positive about everything. We have had a lot of water main breaks this year. We actually had 48 so far.
Oh.
Of the 48, interestingly enough, about a third of them we've observed who have been actually old service lines that were not properly abandoned. So we're keeping track of a lot of that information as we get through this. We're actually moving forward with the process too to hopefully in the next couple of months go out to bid and actually do some valve repairs. That's kind of contributing back to some of these. So more info will be coming back to Public Works and Water Committee here over the next month or two.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Again, thank you to the entire team. All of it. Nothing further. So Village Manager Bear?
I just have two items. The first is that starting August 1st, residents of Western Springs over 50 years of age will be able to register for the events and trips available in the Willowbrook Active Adult Recreation Guide, also known as the SCOOP. Our residents will enjoy the same resident rate and registration timeline as Willowbrook residents and many others who participate in these programs. More information will be available soon. We will be putting information in our upcoming fall recreation brochure on the village website and at the Grand Avenue Senior Center. These trips vary in size, scope, and activity level from a one-day visit to New Buffalo, Michigan to an 8-day guided adventure at the French Riviera. Special thanks to our Recreation Department, particularly our Administrative Coordinator, Ryan Harrison, who took the lead on finding this opportunity and partnership between the village and the Willowbrook Park District. The second thing that I wanted to mention is that the Cook County Department of Transportation and Highways is proposing improvements to Plainfield Road. I know we've heard a little bit about that in the last year or so. Between County Line Road and East Avenue, there's a 3.5-mile corridor that extends through many communities, including Western Springs. They will be having a public information open house to give our community and others the opportunity to provide input on the proposed improvements. And that will be taking place August 4th between 5:30 and 7 p.m. at the Highlands Middle School in LaGrange Highlands. That is at 1850 West Plainfield Road, and the details of the open house are available on our website, right in the front page under the community news. That's all I have.
Great, thank you very much. Village Attorney Skransky?
No report tonight, thank you.
All right, very good. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I will make that motion to adjourn.
Can I get a second?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Pardon me?